Hi everybody, Spider-Man Ross here. Welcome back to the Spider's Web. I haven't posted a video in a long time, so apologies for that. COVID time messes with the timeline, something fierce, and it doesn't seem that long, but somehow it is. So I'm going to show everybody kind of what I've been up to over the last while. I've done some pretty major renovations to the Spider-Man room and picked up a few things that I thought I'd show everybody and sort of get caught up on where we are. I did have a request for a look in at the bronze Spider-Man statue, so I will do that in a little bit as well. So as I always say, thank you to everybody who follows me on Instagram. Thank you for everybody who comments on the videos, good or bad. This is just my collection and I love to show it off. And if you have anything you want to see or any comments, please leave them. I love to hear from other collectors and other people out there. So this is the outside of the room. This is all some of the artwork, obviously. I've collected at shows over the years and just some posters, including the Spider-Man the movie, and with everything from No Way Home kind of brings those things, makes them even more nostalgic now, considering that was we're almost at 20 years since that first film came out. So there's the door to the Spider-Man room, and on this side I've put some of my frames with the cards in it, and that was the Paul Souls Collector's Edition with the lenticular cards and the 2 autographs. I have a soft spot obviously for the 66 cartoon, like a lot of people do, because that was our first experience to Spider-Man on TV, you know, and then into the movies. So we've got a lot of autograph cards from Homecoming. That set was massive from Upper Deck. It had a pile of stuff in it, a pile of autographs, pile of variant autographs. Some of my favorites, you know, Michael Keaton, Kobe Smulders, and of course Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. And then the card set from Spider-Man 3, not the best movie maybe, but a great card set. And of course it had this 20 card autograph set in it that included all the big stars of it, you know, Tobey Maguire, Stan Lee, Willem Dafoe, James Franco, Shannon Elizabeth. Everybody was in this card set, so it's pretty neat. I do have a soft spot for Spider-Woman, so there's an autograph of Joan Van Ark, who did the voice of the Spider-Woman cartoon, because in '81 those aired together, the Spider-Man cartoon and the Spider-Woman cartoon back to back. This poster, as many of you know, is the poster that started it all for me. Doug Soliput, Comic World, when I was a kid, gave me this because my dad ran a business in the same building as Comic World was in, and that kind of started the obsession. This one's from '77, and that started the whole thing. So just some other oddball pictures, a canvas that I love with all the Spider-Man on it. And then this is a '74 Romita poster. It's got tape marks on it, but I found it on Kijiji for 20 bucks, so I was pretty chuffed about that. And then of course the man himself, Stan Lee, and just thanks for the memories when he passed away. So we'll enter the Spider-Man room here, and I'll give you a tour of what I've done. So as we enter, I wanted to create a centerpiece area. So as you walk in, the first thing you see is this centerpiece area, and then comics on the left, and then the older collectibles on the right. So I have hooked this up to one remote control because I'm a nerd that way. So if we hit the remote, we get all the lights come on. So, and that includes all the ones you see here. So this is where we're at these days. So, and then I added this shelving in the back for all of the Spider-Man statues, and I have added some LED lighting to that to bring it, give it a little bit of focus back there. I used to have the statues in glass cases, saw too many YouTube videos of shattered shelves that caused massive damage, and I basically became paranoid and had to replace it with this industrial shelving. These are 5 shelf units that are weighted for 2,000 pounds, so I'm not too worried about them. So I'll just take you through the room real quick. What we've got here is, we'll close the door, and then I've got a Stanley autographed picture and a poster from Into the Spider-Verse, which is one of my favorite movies. I've tried to put this in some kind of order. That's a lot of stuff, and it's actually more stuff than I have room for, but that's okay. So I've tried to sort it out into sort of modern lights and sort of the pop vinyl section with the pops from all the different movies. Obviously there's a ton of pops out there, and I only have a small fraction of them. And of course, I think my favorite one is still the Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man versus Spider-Man. It's still one of my favorites from that scene at the end of the movie. I've got a lot of VHS tapes from back in the day, from those of you who are old enough to have VHS tapes, and these run the 81 cartoon, the 77 movie with Nicholas Hammond, the bubble packs from the 94 cartoon, which was a great series, and kind of was a precursor to the multiverse scene in No Way Home, with their multiverse run that they did. And like I said, Nicholas Hammond was my first live-action Spider-Man. That's who I think of. And these are some of the episodes on VHS tape that he did back in the day. For any of you who don't know, he was the first, to me, he's the first real movie live-action Spider-Man. I would like to see him get a cameo in a movie one day. And then we go into the DVDs and video games. Of course, some of the earlier stuff, there's a Commodore 64, which is always hilarious, and then the first Spider-Man game, the Atari Sears video game system. Sears doesn't even exist anymore, which is hilarious. And then we have some model kits, and we've got some Lego and Mega Bloks series of various kinds from various movies. It's all over the map. Then we've got cars. I do have a number of different vehicles, some new, some old. Obviously there's some Homecoming and Far From Home, all the way back to, of course, the Corgis going back to the 70s, and some of the old Spider Vans, various ones from various decades, lots of different stuff in there. And then we move into the glass cases with the older items, the Whitman books and puzzles, remote control cars, all kinds of Viewmaster for those who loved Viewmaster. I loved Viewmaster when I was a kid. NASA, I've got a soft spot for NASA items. They had a great license for all kinds of kids stuff back in the day. And of course, costumes, masks. Ben Cooper was the ultimate kids Halloween costume, so I've got a few different Ben Coopers and some few oddball items, including this crazy foam, which I always find hilarious. It's a metal can that shot foam. I'm sure there was nothing toxic in that at all back in the day. I've managed to put this Spider-Man TV up here, which is a great item. It's got a built-in DVD player, and this is the remote for it. Works really well. Sometimes when I'm doing stuff in here or reading comics, I put in the Spider-Man DVDs and have them running in the background while I'm doing stuff in here. So we've got the Empire items. Empire had a great license in the 70s. There's the Crime Lab and the bike siren and the helicopter. I have most of the small items that came with these, which are hard to find. I just don't have boxes. but I can't have everything because I can't afford it, literally. And then we've got some of the old stuff, the Matchbox racetrack and the Hot Wheels racetrack, still in the box, which is kind of nice. Great older items for, especially for car aficionados. And these are all my older type items. The utility belt, the SpiderMan rocket, the water, that's the greatest water pistol ever created from, I think, 74, I believe. You know, wind up Spider-Man. We've got the old Spider-Man watch and kids roller skates. Lots of different items. A water gun. Probably one of the greatest things ever done was this, these kids sunglasses, which I think that's awesome. And the card they came on was awesome. You know, bike license plates. And then we get into the play sets and some of the board games. Light up drawing desk. There's the original Amazing Spider-Man board game from late 60s, I believe. Down to the Spider-Man train set, which still works. I actually have got it out. And then into the Mego, that's the Super Vader down there. And of course that went with the Mego figures, which of course have become very collectible over the last little while. So I've got some carded ones, a couple of loose ones. There's my Lizard, the Pocket Superheroes for the collector who couldn't stuff a Mego in their pockets back in the day. Some of the larger ones. And then into some of the other older collectible items, some of the lunchbox items. There's a 73 piggy bank. And then some of the newer stuff. This is some of the Secret Wars related items. So there's the Secret Wars figure, as well as headphones and the radio and the piggy bank, and a loose figure there as well. And then just a few other things. The candy bucket from the 70s, and then some of the other items. There's some art and oddball related items here. Rinky Dinks from Kids Who Remember That. Paint by numbers. Some paper. This is my wife's favorite item, the toilet paper. An original story came on that. It was the only place you could get it, which is pretty neat. The old Spider-Man radio. And these are all records. We have the Rock Opera, Amazing Spider-Man and Friends, the Electric Company Spidey Super Stories. I have an entire run of the Super Stories comic books as well. And then into Homecoming, they released this pretty neat picture record, which was pretty cool. The old metal garbage can that actually has Spider-Man graphics on the inside as well. These 4 glasses were exclusive from Fan Expo in Toronto a few years ago. Some of my personal favorites. And then there's a cookie jar and some piggy banks there. And of course that leads us to the statue wall. There's the newer Campbell, Mary Jane and Spider-Man statue, and then into some of the older stuff. Lots of different items, lots of different eras. I prefer the red and blue costumes. It's just me. I'm old. That's what I grew up with, so that's what I love. So most of my stuff is the red and blue costume. And like I say, they cover all the different movies, the comic books. There's a Kotobukiya with Mary Jane. There's the full size and the mini Alex Ross. Humberto Ramos design for the Spider-Man on the cathedral. In the back, there's another Kotobukiya from the first movie with Tobey Maguire. And then into a lot of different items down here. At the time, this Hulk Spider-Man statue is the most expensive piece I'd ever bought. I don't have the exclusive with the working traffic light. I would love to, but that's now gone crazy in price. And then some Goblin items, and this is also one of the newer ones from the Avengers movie. And then down here at the bottom, we've just got some of the bigger items. The Campbell Gwen Stacy. There's the bronze limited edition, the Black Cat, and then the 2 other Spideys that I have on the wall. I've got the comic coming for that one. I'm looking forward to getting it so I can pair those up with it. I have a lot of Bowen stuff because I started collecting statues quite a while ago, and Bowen was the big name. That's why a lot of the bust items and statues are Bowens. All these mini busts are Bowens. The Amazing Fantasy 15 is a neat piece. Lots of different items. The Venom lights up as a light up base in the back there. It's pretty cool. That's a Kotobukiya piece that's pretty neat. And then we've got right up to this, which is the Pop Culture Shock 3-piece that had just come out. It's from the video game. I just thought it was pretty cool. And then we got some of the women of Marvel that are important in Spider-Man's life, from Firestar, from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, to the Black Cat, to, of course, Gwen and Mary Jane, from the Loves of Peter Parker. Those were both from the Loves of Peter Parker series. The Mary Jane from J. Scott Campbell, and then I've got some Spider-Woman busts as well. Like I said, Spider-Woman, I have a soft spot because of the '81 cartoon. And then into the bigger pieces that were companion pieces, we've got Black Cat, we've got Spider-Man, and we've got Green Goblin. And that leads us into these premium format Sideshow Venom, the Spider-Man. These pieces are huge and heavy. This one's nice, this Doc Ock fighting one. It's got different heads. This is kind of the McFarlane looking head, and there's an old sort of more classic Romita head that's pretty cool. This Carnage is neat. The axe hand is the exclusive. It actually looks really cool. It was a companion piece to the other Venom. Then some of the other items. And then some of the movie items, the Amazing movie items with Spider-Man, the homemade costume and the lizard, Goblin, and then the Garfield Spider-Man representation. And these are mostly from Spider-Man 3. You'll see the Sandman Venom Spidey fight. There's a Sandman and others that were inspired by that film. And then just some Spider-Man bust from various things. There's from the Amazing Spider-Man 3940 storyline with Green Goblin unmasking Spidey and tying Peter up and taking him away, flying behind the glider. And then Civil War. This is a representation from the '94 cartoon series, and it was just released not long ago. So some pretty neat stuff, and then some Homecoming items as well. And then most of the stuff on the top here are various Bowen items, and some other things, of course, just different Spider-Man statues that I've collected over the years. These were officially licensed Spider-Man lights that I just really like as well. That takes us into this closet area, and again, just various items that I've tried to group together. So all my Spider-Man appliances here, the coffee maker, the crock pot, because you can never go without a crock pot, pancake maker, and then some of the toys. And there's that famous cover that I was talking about in a Marvel Select action figure. And then these are some of the figures I've collected over the years. Some loose, mostly in package, including the large Spider-Man here on the floor. And then these are some of the bigger items, of course, from various years, including all my Hot Toys figures. So I've got at least one Hot Toys, I think, from most every movie that came out in one form or another. I know I don't have all the Hot Toys. There's a lot of Spider-Mans, and they release Spider-Man seemingly every month. They put out a new one. So I've just tried to collect one from each film, or a couple from each film, one of the Spider-Man, one of the sort of villainous characters, and then all the other figures. First, the 94 cartoon series. I actually have each one from that cartoon series leading into some of the more modern stuff, as you can see, including stuff that's just been released to tie into No Way Home. And then the movie stuff. So there's some from Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2, and then the original movie as well. And then some of the newer stuff, Infinity Wars, Far From Home, and then again, this is a 2-pack of Spidey and Mary Jane from the first movie. So this is my Spider-Man lamp, and then some of my oddball McDonald's items and graded comics and comic supplies. And that, of course, is because my comic books are right here. I spent a lot of time rebagging and boarding this summer, transferred them all into short boxes, built this little rolling cart so I could roll it out of the way to get to the ones in the back. It took quite a while to go through everything and catalog all the comics. I won't lie to you, there's quite a bit there, and I'd never done it before, so I wanted to get that done. So we've got, over here we've got Christmas, we've got food related items, we've got bathroom related items, and we've got board games and tins. And the last shelf is books, and then the card sets. These go back to '66. We've got all the movies, so Far From Home, Homecoming, Spider-Man 3, 2, Spider-Man, and then the 94 Fleer Spider-Man set. The only thing I'm really missing from this one is the gold web Walmart exclusives. There was 6 released in only Walmart packs, and unfortunately they are hard to find, and when you can find them, they're really expensive. So this is kind of the first premium, really Spider-Man only set. So it's got a lot of great features. The hologram, the gold webs. That's the jumbo pack gold web exclusive cards. A lot of neat insert sets with the clear ones. And it's just a great set overall. And the fact that the early numbers are 9 cards, but they also make 1 picture is a super, super neat thing about this set. Really well done by Fleer at the time. And again, then we've got drinkware, we've got sort of party supplies, and then up here is all the cups and popcorn buckets going back to the original movie and going all the way up to No Way Home through all the movies. And what I wanted to do with this was create this centerpiece area as you walk in. So as you walk in, you see the centerpiece right in your face, and we've got me with Stan Lee. I got to meet him in 2014 at Fan Expo. It was one of the greatest, most nerve-wracking moments of my life. But to be able to say, hey, your creation has really had an impact on me, thank you for that, while sitting next to him was amazing. And then, as I say, I got a real appreciation for Nicholas Hammond, so I picked up this autographed picture. And then it was feature area, so something I can change up if I want, move around, change the displays, change the comics. I like the idea of statues and comics together. So we've got this sideshow lizard with the Amazing Spider-Man 46. It's kind of the same pose, and I really like how they look together. So we have the sideshow Craven with the Amazing Spider-Man 47. And the nice thing about this, of course, is this is the exact same pose, right? So the statue is the exact same pose as the comic book. So it's really, really cool. This is a Spider-Man 3 Sandman statue paired with my Amazing Spider-Man 4 first appearance and a Strange Tales 115, which is his second appearance, which I thought was kind of neat. And then, of course, you can't have even though my preference is the red and blue costume, the black costume was one of the greatest costume changes ever. So that can't be underestimated in Spider lore. So there's a 252 and a Secret Wars 8 first appearance with the 3-pack Bowen bust set, which had the red costume, the black costume, and of course Venom included, which was nice. So some various artwork that I've put around this as well. That's a neat piece. Spidey and Ghost Rider. It's limited to 99 on a canvas. And on this one I've put a feature for Spider-Man and his amazing friends. So we've got the Marvel Legends series Firestar, the DVD of the series. It's they've never released this, so that's a burnt copy, but it I love that series as a kid. So there's Amazing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends #1, which was the only one issued in the series, and then this Toys R Us exclusive 3-pack. And then I've got a Stan Lee area. So there's a Hot Toys Stan Lee figure, which I set up, and then just some tribute to Stan with the Simpsons action figure, the Marvel Legends action figure, the Excelsior ring, which I got for Christmas this year, which was really neat, the soda cans, Funko sodas, and then the Marvel Age 41 with the picture cover of Stan. So I wanted to have that for the area, and then just some of the Stan Lee Funko Pops and various Funko products. And last but not least is one of my obsessions has always been the Spider-Mobile, because I think it's absolutely the most hilarious thing Spider-Man ever came up with. So I have this tribute area to the Spider-Mobile. That's the Spider-Mobile's first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man #130. It's not the highest grade copy. I'd like to update that one day, but for now it's the one I have, so I treasure it because it is the first appearance. And the nice thing is on the label they even put first appearance of the Spider-Mobile, which I love. That is the Mego Spider-Mobile. I remember playing with this as a kid. It is inside the box there, and it is one of my treasured possessions. Again, that's the only cover appearance in Amazing Spider-Man of the Spider-Mobile, #160. And then just some of the car versions. We've got the Hero Clicks, we've got the San Diego Con exclusive mobile, and then some of the Hot Wheels versions of it as well. And then last but not least, the Funko Pop version. And then this very cool Ahi 70s version, which I love. And then down here is the famous 316, and that is the statue of it, and the Funko Pop. And I have a raw copy of 316, but not a graded one, so that is on the list to get and pose with these two items as well, which would make a nice display. And then all that leads to one of the bigger statues I own, which is this exclusive Spider-Man with the Oscorp and the Doc Ock arm and the pumpkin bomb and the shattered glass. Super cool statue, very big, and it has to go on this pedestal, quite honestly, because I actually have nowhere else to put it. It's just too big otherwise. So that is one of the cooler, more expensive statues that I own. A really awesome piece, definitely in the collection. So, as you can see, I've been really busy here in the Spider-Man room. I had to pull everything out and put everything back. It was a ton of work, I won't lie. To get these shelves in for the statues and then move everything around and then rewire everything. It's not 100%, but it's getting to where I want it to be. So anyway, thank you again for joining, watching. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments section. And if you want to see anything in more detail, let me know. This is my collection that I've had since I was a kid. I started when I was 5 years old. It started with that poster and this light switch cover, which was in my bedroom as a kid. And that is the exact one that I had as a kid. It came with me in moves, and it is still here with me today. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to see anything in more detail, let me know. Again, thanks for the follows on Instagram. And thanks for watching this video. Have a great day, everybody.